Hi everyone, Kevin Martin, Chief Research Officer at I4CP, giving you the 5-minute rundown of last week's CHRO, Senior HR Leader COVID-19 Response Series call. It's the 7th week in a row we've been hosting these for every CHRO. We average about 180 per call, and the topics are fantastic. This week didn't disappoint either. So just a recap of the previous week where we had the CHROs of Church & Dwight and Vulcan lead us on the conversation around their return to office or return to workplace strategies. In fact, the pulse survey we did during that meeting showed us very clearly that most of the CHROs were in discussion phases with their companies right now on what that return to office strategy should consist of. We also then shifted to focus on a very critical element during this pandemic and coming out of the pandemic, even more importantly, which is overall workforce well-being. Now, that set us nicely up for this past week, where Donna Morris from Walmart and Lisa Price from Domino's shared their perspectives on what their organizations are doing. Now, something Donna shared that really struck with me, it was the first I had heard of this, is critical to getting the messaging to their 2.2 million person workforce around the world is to ensure that all the vehicles that are from communications from the top management at Walmart, or that all that communication is actually reaching those in the front line. So what Walmart just did is they put together a pulse survey that they sent to their senior director level personnel. And they asked them questions around, what are you hearing from the top? Making sure that the message from the top didn't get lost on the middle so that it was actually conveyed properly down to the front lines. And that's critically important, especially on the back end of that with an overarching listening strategy to know how is that message actually landing on the front line as well. Now, what Lisa did is she shared with everyone screenshots from their return to office strategy. Here is an example of that. What I really love from what Lisa was sharing is how at Domino's, the CEO and all the executive leadership team is fully behind this, of course, but they're taking a very cautious approach versus a first mover approach to return to the office. Another thing that really speaks volumes to the approach they're taking is that they're very much bought into the notion of allowing people versus telling people to come back once ready. And what I really liked as well is the whole notion of not putting a time frame against things, but rather using a set of considerations to help them inform the company decisions. And she was sharing what those considerations were with the audience. Now, moving to well-being, we took a pulse survey during that call last week, and of the 180 plus senior HR leaders, you could see the runaway answer as to what they believe is going to be altered most in their organizations as a result of the pandemic, looking longer term, is around workforce well-being. To give you an example, second place was talent acquisition at just 13%. And so the majority of companies are really going to be placing a great deal of emphasis on the well-being of the workforce. It's not a coincidence, I would suspect, that just 2 days prior to that call, our friends and partners at HR Executive Magazine published this article where the headline read, "Financial health is the worker's biggest wellness concern." That gelled and jived very much with the research that we have underway with Professor Rob Cross on holistic workforce or worker well-being. What we found is that high performance organizations unquestionably are taking a holistic or whole person approach to workforce well-being. They are much more likely to be looking at 6 different areas versus just physical health and mental emotional health. They're also looking at financial health, career health, how people feel about development opportunities and their progression at the companies. They're looking at social and relational health as well, the key aspects of having key relationships and feeling networked well within the organization and even into the communities also that the company operates. That's going to be the topic of this Friday's COVID-19 CHRO response call. We're going to have guest Professor Rob Cross from Babson College. Rob's going to be sharing qualitative insights from over 200 interviews he's conducted around workforce well-being. I'll be sharing quantitative data from our brand new study on workforce well-being. It is going to be a very timely and lively conversation, and we hope that you'll be a part of that as well. In the meantime, stay well and stay healthy. Thanks for your time.